And for this week, I know I might be a little bit late to the party, but I still think that it's rather important to mention. Now, luckily, with the way that 2017 is going, we don't really have a lot of bad news that's not associated with Trump's tyranny. Like, that's one good thing to mention, is that at least the bad news outside of politics is rather minimal. And I understand that in 2016, one of the biggest disasters that occurred is mostly the deaths of many different celebrities. And like, there are definitely a lot of big name ones that unfortunately had to leave us, like David Bowie, there's Prince, there's Carrie Fisher, and I think the one that I'm going to miss the most is going to be Gene Wilder. But with that said, I can definitely imagine that in 2017, we're definitely not going to be getting as much celebrity deaths as last year. But it's still not going to change that there will be celebrities who will pass away, sadly. And even in the month of January, we do have a couple of examples. Like, the major big profile ones that really hit social media include Mary Tyler Moore, and the one that I will miss the most, at least so far this year, is John Hurt. Now, if you guys haven't heard the news, it was on late Friday, I believe, the 27th of January, that sadly John Hurt passed away of pancreatic cancer, and he was at the age of 77. Now, it could be very debatable regarding if it would be considered young or if he would live a full age. It's kind of in that weird middle. Honestly, I just feel like, yeah, he definitely went out as an old man, but I do feel like he still has a few years going for him. Like, if it weren't for that pancreatic cancer, like, he would still live on probably until, I don't know, maybe like somewhere in his 80s or something like that. But the one big thing that I do want to say about John Hurt is that he's one of the very few actors that I could think of that you could pretty much put him in the category of a master actor. Like, no matter what, he, like, you could put him either on the stage or on the screen, on television, or in the movies, and he can give you the performance of a lifetime, especially with how he did receive 2 Oscar nominations, one for Best Supporting Actor for Midnight Express, and then also for Best Actor in The Elephant Man. But considering that this is the animation podcast, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about his contribution into animation, because John Hurt really does have a distinctive voice that is absolutely powerful enough to bring out some fantastic characters. And I'm using my source here in The Hollywood Reporter, who actually provided a really good list of many of the feature films and projects that he has worked on to bring amazing characters to life. And yeah, he has done a few animated projects as well. He did the Tigger movie, he did Thumbelina, but I want to tell you guys about 3 performances that really did stood out in animation. The first of which I want to mention is, this is his great example of being a brave and courageous hero. Like, this is the leader that you need. And I am talking, of course, about his performance as Aragorn in the 1978 Ralph Bakshi animated adaptation of The Lord of the Rings. And this could be a little bit debatable, honestly, but John Hurt's performance there is probably one of the few things that movie actually did a lot better than the Peter Jackson film. Because Aragorn here, my god, you could definitely tell that he is such a memorably brave character, like, absolutely strong, and someone that you don't want to be on his bad side. Like, you could tell that as long as you're cool with him, like, he will definitely help you out. Like he could tell that people like the hobbits, like Frodo and Sam and all those people, they're definitely one of those that, like, he sees them and he knows to trust them because he knows his instincts. That it just says that these are good people. You know, they know Gandalf. And I remember one of the most memorable lines that he has done. It was actually showing his nobility in a way, because and also not just his nobility, but like he could be a threat to his opponents. When Frodo was questioning his loyalty about like the ring, and John Hurt basically replied with, "If I wanted the ring, then I would have it now." It's so good. Like, it's definitely fantastic. Now, the second example that I want to bring in, surprisingly enough, from the same year, and he actually does play another hero character. This time, however, it is not necessarily like a brave, courageous, and strong hero, but this is a cunning hero. Someone that's more brain than brawn. And I'm talking, of course, about Watership Down, where John Hurt actually played as Hazel. And in there, you could tell that Hazel is someone that's that has more of a heart and the will to go and survive, and you know, to pretty much like go far and wide for the sake of his people, or his rabbits per se. Like, he started out trying to go and find a perfect sanctuary for them, and then there would be the second mission, which is to bring in some dough so that they could have children, so it can ultimately be a rabbit sanctuary where they don't have to fear for any predators or the destruction of man. And like, you could definitely tell that Hazel is someone you can immediately trust, because he was pretty much the first one that sees how his little brother is like so paranoid that trouble is pretty much happening. And even though everybody was just making fun of him, like, ah, shut up, you freaking lunatic, like, Hazel was actually the first one to look at him, to look at his brother and just say, you know what? He might have a point. Maybe there is some trouble brewing that's going to be going on. We should probably get out of here and go in a better sanctuary. Who knows? And yeah, you know, like, it's honestly like true admiration that you would have for a character like Hazel. And there are times when like he could be stuck in a sticky situation, but he knows for which allies he wanted to go and make, like, in order to help him out in his little adventure that he would have. And by the way, there is actually a fun little fact that I do have for you guys, which is very coincidental, is that, funny enough, where John Hurt would play as Hazel in the animated feature of Watership Down, a few decades later, in the animated series from 1999 of Watership Down, John Hurt would actually return, but he would play as the villain, General Woundwort. Which is actually kind of funny, where you would have the exact same story, and the actor would end up playing both the hero, and then later he would be the villain. In a way, I guess you could say it's kind of like that old saying in The Dark Knight. It's either you die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself as the villain. And that's pretty much what happened with John Hurt's relationship with Watership Down. And speaking of villains, however, there is actually one more animated project that he did work on, in which his performance is just absolutely amazing, and where he can really play a believable and admirable hero. He can also play such a threatening and menacing villain, and I think like one of his best villain roles has to hands down be the Horn King in Disney's The Black Cauldron. Now, let me just start this off by saying, say what you will about The Black Cauldron. Like, I know it's no Chicken Little and Home on the Range, but yeah, like, I think a lot of us can agree that it is one of the weaker Disney films, especially when the main characters are not really all that interesting and the journey itself is not as engaging as many of Disney's other films. But the one thing that absolutely makes it worth it to watch, and the best thing to ever come out of The Black Cauldron, has to be the Horn King. And a lot of it has to do with John Hurt's performance. Like, you could tell that he has this, like, dark nature in him. like, you know, this is a guy who will literally unleash hell. And like, I'm not gonna lie, the Horn King is hands down the most underrated Disney villain ever created, because the threatening level that he has is almost on the same page as like Maleficent and Chernabog. Like, he really does have such power, and you could tell, like, I remember there's this one scene where, like, you got this entire group of thugs, like, they're just, you know, like, partying and celebrating how evil they are. It's almost like a scene from the Pirates in the Caribbean ride, and then suddenly the Horn King comes in, everything stops. Like, he is just right there, like, holy crap, like, you cannot say anything bad, you cannot, like, misbehave or anything in front of him, or else you're pretty much dead. He has total power, and it's someone you should not screw with. And I'm telling you, it's such, like, what John Hurt performed in there, it's phenomenal. It's such an amazing job. But I just want to say right now that John Hurt's performance doesn't go outside, well, it doesn't go just in animation. Like, I cannot just talk about his animation performances. Like, I also have to highlight many of his live action roles as well, considering that he did appear in many big name movies. I've already mentioned his Oscar nominated performances in The Midnight Express and also The Elephant Man, but he was also Kane, where he was the first person to pretty much get an alien come out of his chest, which, funny enough, he actually reprised his role in Spaceballs, where, like, you just see him at the desk and then suddenly the chest buster is about to come out and he's just there. Oh no, not again. Such a great performance. Like, you could tell that John Hurt would be a great sport. But also at the same time, he also appeared in other amazing big name films. He was Mr. Ollivander in the Harry Potter movies, including Sword of the Stone and Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. He was also the evil fascist leader Adam Salter in V for Vendetta. Another great example of a villain role where, like, you could tell he has total power, he is absolutely threatening, and you cannot screw up when you're in front of his presence. Like, definitely a powerful villain right there, almost as much as the Horn King, I would say. He was also in Indiana Jones and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull as Professor Oxley. And also, he was Trevor Broom Brutterholm in the Hellboy movies, in Hellboy, Hellboy 2, and also in the 2007 animated TV movie Hellboy, Blood and Iron. And I just have to say, like, well, like I said in the very beginning, my God, John Hurt is just a phenomenal actor, and every single performance that he has done is just, you know, it really makes it such a standout performance, rather it be like, he could take just a mediocre movie like The Black Cauldron and just elevate it to a new level by bringing up such an unforgettable character like the Horn King. Or, like, he would even add into something special, like with the Hellboy movies or the Harry Potter films, or even, like, be, like, the most memorable thing in movies like Alien. And keep in mind, like, Alien is such a very well-known and popular movie, so, like, it does really say something when John Hurt would step into the scene and he would, like, just steal the show entirely. So I'm definitely going to miss the guy. I'm definitely going to miss him, and I'll definitely miss his wonderful performance that he has been giving for so long in numerous of different different places. And also, I just want to mention quickly, I just found it in front of me, but I did mention a lot of his movie roles, but he also did a lot of great TV roles as well, where he was the storyteller in Jim Henson's The Storyteller. He was also in the Alan Clark Diaries, The Confessions, and also Merlin. But at the same time, he was known to be the War Doctor in the 2013-2014 series of Doctor Who. So yeah, going back to what I was saying, like, hands down, John Hurt is just a legendary actor who can take on any role and he'll give you such a magnificent performance. And I highly do encourage you guys to go and you can pretty much share your thoughts and tell me, what was the performance that you feel like John Hurt impacted you the most? Like, what would be the most memorable role for you that John Hurt played? Because I'm sure everybody has like one or a couple of performances that John Hurt definitely brought out, but for me, like, there are many of them, not just for animated films, but also for many other live action projects like V for Vendetta and Hellboy and Alien and so much more. So I'm definitely going to miss the guy, and may John Hurt rest in peace.
Hey guys, this is Animat. I just want to remind you guys that this is just a little taste of what you can get with the Animation Podcast. This is not all of it. If you guys want to go and listen to the full episodes of the Animation Podcast, then allow me to show you some of the different ways that you can go. First off, you can actually go on the website that it is hosted on, Filmbook, so you can go directly onto there. You can also go and check out the official Filmbook Podcast YouTube page, so at least you don't have to go away from YouTube and you can listen to the podcast right there. But if you would like to listen on the go, like if you want to listen it to on your phone or on your iPad and all that kind of stuff, then you can listen to it on either iTunes or you can listen to it on Android. So those are all the different options, and if you'd like to have more info, then all you have to do is just check in the description down below. And with all that said, I just want to say thank you guys so much for listening, and until next time, see you later, dudes!